Alright, hello YouTubers. It's Friday night, sometime in May. I've forgotten the day. Mid-May. So we're going to do a little shop talk tonight. That's my video. And I figured we'll talk about three things. A past project that I'm really enjoying, a current project that I'm working on that you might not have seen yet because I haven't released a video, and then a future project that I plan on doing. I'm just in the research stage. So I've got quite a few current projects, air quotes, that I just haven't gotten the video all edited, and there's probably 5 or 6 of those that I've taken footage of and I just haven't released yet because I haven't had time to get all of the video clips edited. So I'll pick one of those to talk about as a current project, and then I'm gonna try to get back on a regular schedule of maybe one project a week with maybe a shop talk a week as well. So 2 videos a week is my goal. So that's what I'm going to try to do. It's difficult because I don't do this full time. I do this very part time. I've got a full-time job, more than full-time job actually, and I just do this for fun, so I'm not a full-time YouTube woodworker. So past project, there's quite a few past projects that I'm really enjoying, and I want to save some of that for a shop tour, but I'm not going to release a shop tour video yet because I'm not quite where I want to be in my shop here. In order to release that video, I want my shop to be fully functional before I release that video and actually film that video. But I'm not quite there yet, so hang in there if you're looking for a shop tour. I'll get to it, but I got a few more projects I want to get done before I get there. But as far as a past project, let's go to the first category that I'm really enjoying. That is my rolling tool cart. I released a video on that. I built a rolling tool cart, and I'll show you here in just a second, with a drill press, a bench grinder, an old free bandsaw, and a bench sander on it. And I mounted all those tools. I built the cart. It's on wheels. I can wheel it around. I'm really enjoying that project. In fact, this last weekend, I released a video of doing some picture frames for Mother's Day. I used the bench sander specifically in that project to grind down the splines that I put in there. And that perfect tool for the job, absolutely perfect. Fired it up, grinded down, sanded down the splines. Took me about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to do all 3 picture frames with all the splines, and absolutely loved the bench sander. I've used the drill press quite a few times. It's done what I needed it to do. I don't have as many drill bits as I need. I need to get a Forstner bit set. So I'm looking at that right now for a future purchase. But with the drill bits I have, I chuck them up in that drill press. It works great. It's not a big fancy floor standing awesome $1,000 drill press. It's a cheap skill drill press, but it's done everything I needed it to do so far, and I've used it quite a bit, so absolutely loving that. So as a reminder, we'll take a look at the cart. So here it is. You can see it here. I've got the drill press mounted here. Again, it's just a cheap Skill drill press. I don't remember if it's 8 inches or 9 inches or 10 inches or whatever it is. But it works great. There's very little run out on the chuck. It's actually quite accurate as far as I'm concerned. So it's done a great job. And then my bench grinder is just a cheap Win bench grinder I bought off of Amazon. So that's also been a great tool. I've used it quite a bit. I've sharpened some knives. I've grinded down some screws. I forget what else I've done with it, but it's great. Absolutely recommend it, and I'll put a link in the description. On the back side is a free bandsaw that I got from a friend of mine. It is an absolute piece of junk. So this old Delta bandsaw 9-inch tabletop, whatever the heck it's called, it's wore out. It's junk. The wheels, or the tires, I guess you would call it, the rubber is wore out, needs to be replaced. The blade won't stay on. The tensioning mechanism is all frozen up. It's absolute garbage. So there it sits. I don't use it because it's junk. And I'm going to talk about a future project because I just absolutely hate that thing. But we'll get to that in a minute. Then I've got my my bench sander right here. Pull-out drawer. It actually works pretty well. I just use a chair. I sit down. I used it the other day to do the picture frame splines. It worked great on the actual belt. I even used the disc part on the front. That worked well as well, and no complaints. I don't do a lot of sanding yet. I know this is a cheap sander, but as far as I'm concerned, it's great. It does what I need it to do so far, and I plan on using it a lot more now that I've used it a couple of times. I know how I can use it in future projects, and it's just a matter now that it's so convenient on this cart that I can just walk over here, turn it on, and use it. You know, everything is plugged in. It's ready to go. I can, you know, fire up the sander, fire up the grinder, fire up the drill press. The bandsaw's junk, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I did need to use that, I just pull the cart out, spin it around, and I can use the bandsaw. So far, so good. This project's been great. So as far as current projects, you actually see it right here, and that is my outfeed assembly table. So I've taken all of the footage. In fact, I finished it tonight. I put the last layer of polyurethane varnish on it. So I'm going to edit all that video together, and you'll see that in an upcoming video. But I built a 4-foot by 4-foot outfeed / assembly table, and I absolutely love it. So I won't ruin the video right now, but it's something I sorely needed. I was using sawhorses with a piece of plywood as my outfeed table for my table saw. And that worked all right, but I had to drag sawhorses around, and it was not stable. It would tip. I couldn't use it as an assembly table. I was using my table saw as an assembly table to work on little projects. So I decided I needed to go ahead and build it. And so I've used it. I was using it while I was working on it. Let's just say that's how useful it's been. As I was putting it together, I was working on a couple of other little projects, and I was actually using the table to assemble and as an outfeed table while I was trying to finish the table. So it's been absolutely great. So I'll put that video together this weekend, and you'll see that next as an upcoming video. So future projects. I need a bandsaw, and I'm a sucker for a challenge. So I've been doing a lot of research on bandsaws, and that bandsaw I've used 2 or 3 times, and then it's completely now broke and garbage. So I know what I don't want, and that is a cheap benchtop garbage bandsaw. I don't want that. I know I don't want that. So then if you span Nirvana says, well, you need to go buy a 17-inch Grizzly or Laguna or Jet bandsaw. Something with some decent resaw capacity, which I don't think I'll use a lot, but something with some power, some accuracy, and something that's reliable and that works. So if I look at those bandsaws, 17 inches, we're talking $1,500 to $2,000. Well, I'm not doing that kind of work in the Obsessed DIY shop here, so kind of ruled that out. So there's 2 opposite ends of the spectrum: garbage, $200, $300 bandsaw. High-end 17-inch, can't afford, don't need it. So then I started looking in the middle. So the middle of the road is a 14-inch bandsaw, or a 14-inch bandsaw with a riser block. Grizzly makes a great one with a riser block. Comes in around $800. I think it's $600 plus the riser block is $100 plus shipping is $600, $700, $800. So now we're talking about, okay, well, that's something I could swing. Do I really want to do that? I look at a Laguna. Laguna makes a 14-inch bandsaw that has a nice 12-inch resaw capacity, $1,000. Now we're talking about some money, 800 versus 1,000. Okay, well, that's like the middle of the road. It's like entry level, decent bandsaw. We're talking $600, $700, $800, $900. So then I stumbled upon a video, and this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but there's a guy in Canada that I really connected with when I watched his videos, and I've been watching his videos for some time, and that's Matthias Wandel, I believe is his name. He's an still engineer in Canada. He released his own YouTube channel probably 8-10 years ago. Millions of views, millions of subscribers. Well, this guy's a genius, okay? And he built a DIY, home-built bandsaw out of wood. And I know that's crazy. I mean, why would you build a wooden bandsaw? Well, I got to thinking about it, and I've watched his videos. He's built an 18-inch, a 16-inch, a 14-inch, a 20-inch. He's built like 4 bandsaws. And I'm here to tell you, I'm leaning heavily towards building my own bandsaw. When I look at all of his different plans, I think the one that I gravitate to is the 14-inch bandsaw, even though he recommends everyone build the 16-inch. Again, the wheel size is or wheel and throat size, which should be about the same if you study how a bandsaw is built. The 16-inch is probably the ideal saw. However, his design, his 16-inch saw only has about, I want to say, 8 to 10 inches of resaw capacity, maybe 8, 9 inches. I don't remember. But it's something much less than the 14-inch bandsaw that he did. His 20-inch saw and his 14-inch saw actually have about the same resaw capacity, which is the height of the cut. And then I got to thinking, well, do I really plan on doing a bunch of resawing? Answer is probably not, but I think I'd like to have that. That's what a 14-inch with a riser block would give you. It'd give you about 12 inches. So basically his 14-inch saw is the same as a 14-inch saw with a riser block. It's 12 inches of resaw, 14 inches throat capacity, which is the size of the wheel and the throat. And depending on how much you pay or don't pay for a motor, it could be done relatively inexpensive. I will say the price is not what's got me excited about building a bandsaw. What's got me excited about building a bandsaw is I like a challenging project. I've tackled quite a few challenging projects just because I like the challenge. I'm an engineer, much like Matthias is, and I'm actually I get more excited about the challenge than I do the actual project itself and using the project. So that's what's got me excited, is tackling something that most people wouldn't tackle. And then at the end of it, when you have this product that you've built, it's something to be excited about. So we'll talk more in an upcoming shop talk about some of these challenging projects that I've done that you may or may not have seen already. But anyways, future project-wise, I'm researching bandsaws. I haven't bought any material yet, so in that sense, I haven't fully committed to the project. However, I am very close. I've spent probably 100 hours researching bandsaws. All different makes, models, DIY models. There's several out there. Watching videos, watching reviews, reading forums. So soon I'll make my mind up and commit to whether I'm going to buy one or I'm going to build one. So anyways, I think that's it for tonight. That's our shop talk for mid-May 2018. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I'll be releasing a new project video this weekend. I'm going to try to stick to the weekend releases. If you didn't see last week's video, go check that out. I built some picture frames for Mother's Day presents, and we'll update you with the next video very shortly. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much.